That is going to be the start of our new album. I think I'm keeping it. Welcome back to the Cavecast, everybody. The uncensored show. We're working on a new intro. The uncensored show for nerds of all kinds. And tonight, I'm going back to my roots. I'm doing something that somebody complained about a while ago through the comment forum. Now, we read comments, and we see everything that everybody says. We sometimes don't engage because it's just sometimes not good. But
whatever.
I did engage with this person, though. They said, your podcast is supposed to be a scary podcast, like talk about ghosts and things like that, which is a fair thing. I think we've talked about it before.
Sure.
Sometimes. With Bob the Demon, I've done EVP reactions. I've done all that kinds of stuff. But I remember I responded and I said, it is what I say it is.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun.
That was on the Kyle Wright 4251.
Yep. Oh, yeah. All the veterans, if you were around. Yeah. Thank you. As it's evolved. But I really just was like, man, I want to do some scary stuff again. Like, we did a Bigfoot episode, and it was fun. Like, it was cool. Like, it didn't have that kind of like eeriness to it, but I wanted to.
And we did like did like the catacombs and
and the serial killers one.
Yeah. So like we've done some pretty. Then we had the Halloween episode, obviously.
Yep.
So yeah.
So tonight is the Loch Ness Monster, and I wanted to just kind of dive into, the amount of sightings, like, what is this thing, if it even is a thing? Can this thing even exist? And then a little gift for you is in the description that you're going to see what it is before we talk about it. Eric doesn't know what it is. That is going to, not what we're going to end on, but something that we're going to bring up that I think I may actually try to watch and just see if anything happens. Who knows? It would be boring if nothing does, but you still get to see sheep. He has no idea what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay. So let me just ask you, when you think of the Loch Ness Monster, what do you think of? Like, it's like
Napoleon Dynamite
to blow Nessie out of the water.
What
was it? Japanese scientist placed explosive.
Yeah. No, I mean, you like, everybody kind of immediately thinks of like their childhood, because it's been a myth and an urban legend since I was in grade school, so, and I've always heard that it was in Lake Erie.
Lake Erie does have a supposable monster that lives in it, which, I mean, I don't want to give too much away on my opinion, but we may actually kind of talk about that kind of mentality. This is actually not even in America where the Loch Ness Monster has been seen.
Okay.
And we're going to get into it with just everything from, we have pages pulled up, all the links if you want to follow along with the info and stuff. Everything will be in the description. Again, I'm making that more of a consistent thing. That way we cite everything that we're talking about here. We made a mistake with the Sinbad thing. I'm not doing that again. So just to start us off, let's just talk about the location. This is just, again, the Wikipedia page for the actual location of this. And this is Loch Ness is the name of the place. It's in Scotland.
Okay.
It is a large, deep freshwater loch in Scottish Highlands extending for approximately 37 kilometers or 23 miles southwest of Inverness. Its surface is 16 meters, 52 feet above sea level. Loch Ness is best known for alleged sightings of the cryptozoological Loch Ness Monster, also known affectionately as Nessie. It's connected to the southern end of the River Ork and the section of the Caledonian Canal to Loch Oik or Ork or whatever that is for that. So this is actually a location that is in Scotland. It is a very, very, very big mass of water.
But how deep is it?
We're going to hopefully find that out, because I wanted to just read through everything and get the idea of it and just kind of learn.
Because
on the way.
my biggest thing.
Oh, I just found it. Its deepest point is 230 meters.
I don't know what that means.
126 fathoms, 755 feet.
Wait, say that again?
It is, so there's different measurements that are in here. So 230 meters or 126 fathoms, but we would know it as 755 feet. So making it the second deepest, I think it's Oik. I hope I'm saying that right. Or no, Loch. Oh my God. There was a fuzzy in the way.
So my
Deepest
question
loch
is,
in Scotland after Loch Morar.
my question is that this Loch Ness Monster that these people have like sightings of this like whatever, you know, people say that they only catch glimpses of this thing or like a tentacle or something like that. If it's that fucking big, okay, 700 feet deep at its only deepest point, like the one spot. Okay, where's this thing just chilling and like adapting to? Like, then it just really doesn't move. Is that what you're telling me? Because then it would just be seen a
marine
more.
Animal should be doing its thing to look for food and to,
like so, it's clearly it's like that tells me that it's, I don't know. That's where I've always had a big thing about it, where it's like, well, no, obviously it's a urban legend, but that was a big thing that always got me was, dude, there's no way. Look how big it would have to be compared to how deep that, you know, the part that it's at. It would just always be around.
Now, to be fair, I did not find a lot on like the size of Nessie. We may find some stuff that's been
how would you know?
Like, right. It's something that we'll get into some things later on in some different articles if we make it to it, if it fits. But just as a precursor is that Google Earth has actually captured supposable images of large masses that are in the water. There's a couple of different theories as to what the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, as we will call her or he. But there's some theories as to what Nessie could actually be. Nessie is always described as a long-necked, almost like dinosaur-looking kind of monster. There is one theory that suggests that it's an eel, that it's just a very, very large eel. Now, if you think about it, I think that that's actually kind of plausible.
Because it could sit up. Like, okay.
Yep. Either that or it's the idea of when you're talking about like, well, wouldn't this thing be found? There's even been seismic charges that have like been taken so seriously to try to find if there is an actual dinosaur or something like that living. I mean, because if there is, we need to know. Like it's
it's clearly
revolutionary.
The best game of hide and seek ever and winning.
Just right under Bigfoot. You know, it's like,
they probably text each other all the time like, escaped this marine or submarine the other day. Idiot.
They don't know about the cavern.
Yeah. Bigfoot's like, yeah, stupid hunters were out here. Psyched them right out.
Yeah. So there's been some pictures I've found of them noticing that there are some strange, maybe smaller bodies of mass that have been seen in some seismic things. It's almost like kind of like whenever you have a fish finder on a boat.
Yeah.
It has the same kind of thing. It shows you the depth and then if there's fish and then, anything else. But this is obviously looking for something much bigger. A lot of the searches for Nessie have really not turned up with a lot of evidence.
Clearly.
However, people's accounts of what they have seen have grown from what I can tell, very consistently. Loch Ness Monster was first sighted, it says, the popular interest and belief in the creature has varied since it was brought to the worldwide attention in 1933. Evidence of its existence is anecdotal, with a number of disputed photographs and sonar readings. So the one picture that's actually here on the Wikipedia page is the black and white, literally like Bronchiosaurus thing. Like when you think of Nessie, that's the one that pops up. So it's interesting. This is something that has been cited or was at least made public in 1933 in this area. It caused enough of a stir that people were like, no, like I saw this thing, man. Like it was here. So not that it means it's true. It's interesting.
Here's my question is around that time, let's say like 1938 to like 1940, 41, what kind of like horror movies were being made? Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm saying like what
oh God, I just listened to Rob Zombie talk about this on Joe Rogan. I think that it was I want to say it was almost like King Kong and Dracula and
So,
like it was, or no, I think it was it Nosferatu? No, that was a silent film. Anyway, but regardless, is that it's like
I can't remember. But
like
what I'm saying
monster
is
movies.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that I mean, what if it was just this like movie prop that was, you know, on, and then somebody caught wind of it and everybody was like, you know, look at this thing, and just people never like corrected it. I don't know. I mean, urban legends and myths come from something.
Yeah.
And you know, I would think probably 50% of the time somebody knows the origin of what happened and just kept their mouth shut.
That's one of the things that, can make this very reputable, is that it's so old or so deceiving because it's so old.
So
and that's,
exactly.
There's two sides to that coin.
The picture is there. What I'm saying is that if somebody had the photograph and maybe they were out at sea or whatever it was filming something, and it was just like a prop or something that maybe even just got cut out, who knows? I could be completely wrong. It's just that's a theory is that I wonder when, like, what was being made around this time, because if I'm sure if you did enough research, you could find out what was being made. And if you found a like serpent movie or something like that, it's possible again. And then just nobody just corrected it. But that's a 5-10% chance. It's a possibility that this is it, because at the same time, my question is that you didn't have Photoshop back then. What the fuck was it?
Yes, something had to be there for this picture to exist. So it's like, if it's faked, then good for them. Like, so like,
or somebody was like, it was me and you going, all right, I got this camera. Go out on the boat, take Dad's boat. All right, get a bunch of pool noodles.
There was actually somebody that I think it was when I was a kid I saw it. They basically said that if somebody understood film enough, they would have known that this could have been pulled off with a miniature. They could have done it in their pool and like, or like their like little like kiddie pool or whatever, and then darkened the bottom with like a trash bag or something. Like, anything is possible. But the question you had about the horror movies, as far as what came out, I just did what horror movies came out in 1930 or the 1930s. Just what I can see right here on the Google page. We'll see what.
Well, I would say 1940, because if it was 1939, they were making the movie in 1939, and then 1940 would have come out. You see what I mean?
Oh, okay. Well, then 1940s.
I'm just saying that I would maybe try that.
Oh, let's see here. Well, I'm already seeing the first 6 that are on there, and there's no creature features. So,
okay.
But however, I think that regardless, it's very easy to be able to fake something.
You could.
It can be done.
You could.
Now, this is what's interesting. So we're going to go through some of the true accounts of people that claim that they have seen Nessie. One of the things I remember from, I think, Monster Quest was a woman said that she was on like one of the cliff sides of the Ness, and there's also like a river that runs out of it or whatever that apparently the first sighting was actually seen in was the river. It was not actually in the actual like big like lake area.
Okay.
But this woman in particular, she said she was on like, standing over the edge or whatever, just, admiring the distance. And she looked down and there was this reptile head that was just
a reptile head.
Like it was like, it was just, it looked like a sea, like creature, like looking thing with a very long neck. And it wasn't aggressive. It didn't do anything to that effect. It just kind of came up, looked at her, and then went back in the water, and then it disappeared. So this woman, that woman in particular claims that she got that close to it, like not even intentionally. Like this thing just kind of came out. Like, I mean, think about animals that you walk nearby or whatever, and you both are minding your own business, and you're like, oh shit, there's a skunk. So it's like, oh man. But the first sighting that's on here, not necessarily that it's the first sighting ever, but this is just the first one under the history here. It says it's in St. Columbia. Not in St. Columbia. It says St. Columbia, and it says believers in the monster point to this story set in the river Ness rather than the loch itself. So the river, not the big expanse. as evidence for the creature's existence as early as the 6th century. Skeptics questioned the narrative's reliability, noting that the water beast stories were extremely common in medieval stories. And let's see, Adamant's tale probably recycles a common motif attached to a local landmark. According to skeptics, the story has this fictional story. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to make sure I'm reading this correctly because it's like jumping around. I apologize if this is confusing. So let's see here. Okay, so this is the actual thing. I thought it was citing an author, but it's actually the name of the guy that actually saw Nessie.
Oh.
I was making sure this wasn't a fictional thing referencing what was actually being done. So, according to the skeptics, this guy's story may be independent of the modern Loch Ness Monster legend and became attached to it by believers seeking to bolster their claims. This says Ronald Binns considered that this is the most serious of various alleged early sightings of the monster, but all other claimed sightings before 1933 are dubious and do not prove a monster tradition before that date. Let's see here. Christopher Carney uses a specific historical and cultural analysis of this guy's story to separate from different things from St. Columbia from the modern myth of Loch Ness Monster. It finds an earlier and culturally significant use of the Celtic water beast folklore along in the way. So there was a very, very old sighting, but in the folklore, in the mythology of things like that, it probably wasn't something that necessarily held that much weight because of the fact, dude, I read this story last week, or I had somebody tell me the story around a fire. Like, there's not one in our town. So essentially, it's just the idea that it's like there's been very, very early sightings of this. I didn't want to read through the whole first paragraph because there was a lot of landmark stuff, so we may have missed a lot. I apologize if that was limping through it, but this one's a lot shorter and a lot easier. It says this person that saw it was D. Mackenzie. It's either in 1871 or 1872. In October 1871, D. Mackenzie of Balnian, which I'm assuming was a town, reportedly saw an object resembling a log or an upturned boat wriggling and churning up the water. The object moved slowly at first, disappearing at a faster speed. Mackenzie sent his story in a letter to Rupert Gould in 1934, shortly after popular interest in the monster increased. So this was an older story that wasn't even brought to effect until a year after it was originally made public. Let's see. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, it's interesting that, like multiple people are seeing it, but I don't know. It still kind of goes back to that whole like telephone thing because it doesn't seem like there's multiple people seeing it at once.
It's always singular cases or things like that.
It's always, oh man, I just got back from Lake Nessie and I saw her head. But like, okay, well, why wasn't it like me, you?
Where was everybody else?
Yeah, like why weren't it like you went by yourself? Like so that's what I'm catching kind of a theme here.
Well,
okay,
George,
prove me wrong.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's only two people. But George Spicer, I think that's his name, Spicer. This has got the date of 1933 next to it. Modern interest in the monster was sparked by a sighting on the 22nd of July in 1933 when George Spicer and his wife saw a most extraordinary form of an animal cross the road in front of their car. They described the creature as having a large body, about 4 feet or 1.2 meters high and 25 feet long, and a long, wavy, narrow neck slightly thicker than an elephant's trunk, and as long as 10 to 12 feet, which was about the width of the road. They saw no limbs. It lurched across the road toward the loch 20 yards away, leaving a trail of broken overgrowth in its wake. So there was a baby then? Don't know. That's pretty big. That's 25 feet. Whatever this big creature was supposobly crossing the street.
Right,
so
but what I'm saying is that the Loch Ness is supposedly this gigantic fucking thing.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it is a baby.
So,
or maybe it was a baby at that point.
Or here's another thing is, or are we seeing all of it?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, what else is in there? You know, like what if it's one of those like nothing? It's only like 10 feet long or 25. But
right. What's interesting, it says it's been claimed that sightings of the monster increased after a road was built along the loch early in 1933, bringing workers and tourists to the formerly isolated area.
Okay.
However, Binns has described this as the myth of the Lonely Loch, as it was far from isolated before then due to the construction of the Caledonian Canal. In the 1930s, the existing road by the side of the loch was given a serious upgrade. Just possibly this work could have contributed to the legend, since there could have been tar barrels floating in the loch. So there's a lot of things that, like, it's what you're going to see with this is that there's a lot of compelling evidence, but it's also very unclear and very circumstantial. So,
okay. All right. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, I know we're only about 20 minutes in, but what do you think?
This is something that I have an opinion about that is not really one way or the other. And I know that's kind of a, breaking terminology and shit, but it's like, but stay with me, is that I want to believe that anything is possible when I see freaky things in nature, and like how, like, one of my favorite subreddits right now is Nature is Metal. Like when like you can, like, you basically get to see the most just brutal fucking things that happen in nature. One of the things I saw today, like, I didn't really like this one. It was kind of like an, oh my God, nature is metal. It just doesn't give a fuck. There was a fox that went swimming in a river or a pond or whatever, and it got froze.
I saw that.
And it's like, it chose the wrong time to go swimming. And it's like, dude, like, nature is terrifying. Like, nature does not have emotion. It does not care if you're a child. It does not care if you have a family. It is nature, and it will do what it is continued to do.
It's unforgiving, no matter who or what you are.
So that's what we used to do whenever we would sneak cans of like Pepsi and stuff into school. We would like do a loud cough, and then we'd get caught. Now, when it comes to like, just to focus on Loch Ness, because this is kind of the same opinion that I have with like Bigfoot and with, the extreme things of like the El Chupacabra and like, all these, and the Mothman. We're going to talk about that eventually. But I fucking hate moths. I can't stand them. I want nothing to do with them. And I am very upset to say
they're just reject butterflies, dude.
There was too much foam in that Pepsi. It was a very tall Pepsi. No, so when it comes to like, these sea creatures and these, paranormal things and all that, I spoke to a friend of mine recently, and we were talking about the whole national park thing.
Yeah.
Like how if you guys don't know,
stairs.
Well, it's not just the stairs. The stairs is a very big part of it. Which we're probably going to end up doing an episode on national parks, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But
sorry, guys, I kept looking at the camera, but that was because it like really blinded me in the face. I'm like, I wonder what that looks like.
I can't see. I burnt out my corneas.
Yeah.
One of the things that this person said was that they were like, man, I've camped in the Smokies by myself for 10 days, and nothing happened. I had a good time. I, camped out. I had my friends and my fire and, hunted or like did this or did that and stuff, and this person was like, my experiences have been very good. I've not had anything bad happen, thankfully. But he brought up a very good point, was that he said, have you ever thought about what nature can do when it has nothing around it? Like when nature, so think about this, is that in my opinion, and I very much agree with what this person was saying, was that when you get into the spirituality of things, especially like talking about like the Native Americans when they lived here before Columbus came in and ruined everything for them.
And Heidi thinks he was too stupid to find it. But anyways, that's a different story.
But that's a whole other podcast. So 3 podcasts.
She literally just told me that the other day. But anyways, I digress.
But no, so there's
fucking Aunt Heidi.
Dude, she's a gangster, dude. If you want Aunt Heidi on the podcast, comment below. We'll see what she says. So.
You want Aunt Heidi on the podcast? Trust me. You want her on the podcast.
But no, so Native American lore and just everything that comes with it, you have like the Wendigo, you have the idea that of like when you go to become a man or to become a grown up or like whatever their custom is, that you go into the forest with no food and water for 3 days to wait for the spirits to come to you.
Yep. And you come back.
There's something to say about that.
Broken.
Where it's like this, this person was like, he's like, how many crazy experiences have you had in Ohio? Like when it comes to just like being out in the woods or like things happening, like he's like, and I'm talking purely like not other people, like, you know, like you're being robbed or like something like that. It's
right.
like, we're talking about crazy shit that doesn't make sense that happens to you. Now me personally,
once in a great while.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even really think of anything like my, you know, thankfully, like knock on wood, whatever. But it's like, right. Don't do the wood. No, but not that wood. No, but it's that idea that he's like, think about it. We have essentially taken down everything and we've built towns and we've done this. And he's like, not that that's a bad thing, but he said, I don't think that nature gets to do what it intended, because it's limited with the things that we've done. Now, some people could look at that where it's like, what? So if you cut down trees, that's all that it takes. It's like, I don't think it's that simple. I think it's just more the idea of that the environment changes, like everything about it, the, you know, everything from the carbon monoxide to the oxygen to like, you know, everything. Like it's just, I think that has a lot to do with it. I very much try to think of spirituality and science very much in the same realm. And I know that I'm quoting Marvel, but it's one of those where when Thor looks at Jane in the first Thor and says, you come from a place that you think that magic and science are separate. And she says, yes. And he said, I come from a place where they are one and the same.
Yeah. Right.
Think about the moon. The moon, when the tide, like literally if it's too far off, it affects the tides. Mm-hmm. The tides are, you know, sometimes like there's no water. Sometimes there's way too much water. It's you know, depending on things. What's he doing?
I see. You said Thor.
Oh,
he came and sat
sorry,
by the
buddy.
door.
The dog's outside. He thought
I can see a shadow right there.
Bubba, I'm sorry, Bubba. I wasn't calling you. It's okay.
That's funny.
I can't remember if it was
my dog's a big baby.
Yeah, he's a cuddle bug.
Anyways,
I love him.
Sorry.
No, but when it comes to like just the moon itself, is that you have something that literally for its like whatever reason, its gravitational pull affects water. Mm-hmm. And it can fundamentally change things on this planet. Bruce Almighty did it with him taking it closer.
I was literally about to say
tsunamis happened and shit. Like
I know that's a movie, but that's the kind of shit that would happen.
And I love that because it was such a genius thing where it's like you did this selfishly and it caused issues.
It was a consequence.
Yes.
Anyways, that's a whole different podcast. But
again, I love it. No, so when it comes to just the effect on people that the moon has, like when they talk about, it's a full moon tonight, like stuff is crazy. Humans are 70% water. Tell me that the moon has no effect on you.
Bro, do you know what's so crazy is I had a customer 2 days ago, I don't fucking know, one of them days. Mm-hmm. Come in and we had a lot in common. She was talking about her kids. We have like almost same birthdays, blah, blah, blah. They're from Pittsburgh. They just moved, all this stuff. So we were talking, right? And come to find out, we're all around kind of the same area that I lived and like worked and all. Anyways, she talked about, it was 3 years ago or two or 3 years ago. It was Halloween. It was Halloween, and there was like this ridiculous storm. And it was a full moon. Mm. She said it wasn't just, she said, my contractions were 2 minutes apart. I was in labor.
No way.
Her kid wasn't born until November 11th. She went to the hospital and she said, it was something in the air, man. There was like 13 other pregnant women. She's like, I waited 3.5 hours. and they were like, we don't know what's going on. And you just said it. Humans are 70%. They were talking about the pH level. They were like, it threw everybody off. So that's so weird.
So with that alone, it's like I feel like almost like
we got way off of Nessie, like into pregnants and
no, but seriously, like it's with Nessie, it's like with my side that sticks up for it. To quote the muggers from the Epic NPC, man, like as if to further prove my point. Like, it's just like we don't understand nature. We don't understand what the full capability of it, man. Like we know more about space than we know about our ocean. The ocean is so impossible to traverse. The Mariana Trench, and then also the areas of the ocean that have been found where you can actually go deeper, like into like more levels of stuff. No,
I'll pay for it.
No, I have no reason to go. You can go and film it with your brand new shiny camera.
My brand new camera, my waterproof tube lights.
It's perfect. It's like almost like the planets are aligning.
I'll pay for it and then buy you a new house.
No, I'm all right. But
he really doesn't like water.
I fucking hate the ocean. I don't like ponds. I don't like anything I can't see below.
If he can't see his feet, he ain't doing it.
No, I won't do it.
It's borderline even deep pools he won't go in.
But no, all I have there is just that irrational fear of a shark. And it's
just, a pool.
That's why it's an irrational fear. Like, as if to further prove my point.
It's a fucking pool.
But no. When it comes to Nessie, I look at this and I think to myself, okay, no matter how I'm looking at my worldview, whether it's through billions of years or thousands of years, I still think that Nessie is something that could easily be explained by dinosaurs.
So,
and what I mean by that, is with as deep and as invasive that water is with erosion and with like how there's caverns, there's places that are underneath of certain land masses that it's like things live in and things exist in. In my opinion, when I stick up for Nessie, I look at it where it's like, so you're telling me that a foreign country has a body of water that has a river connection that very well could connect to other large masses of water, and you're telling me that there's no way anything can make it into that.
Right.
Let's just look at let's be generous. Let's look at other fish. Just like I don't know what kind of fish are in Scotland, but it's like let's just be, for sake of argument, if there's bass are able to get through and they can travel to different areas, depending on like if they are even a fish that will even migrate. Now, when it comes to something that large and something that it would be considered a monster, what I look at that is that clearly it's not been seen when it's convenient, which is really inconvenient. But in the same hand is that when you think about the grand spectrum of the ocean and the fact that we know for a fact the megalodon existed and probably still is out there somewhere. There's been some footage that I only watched for 2 seconds.
Does that scare you?
It was at the bottom. It was at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and it was I think it was. But it was very, very deep. And basically what it was that there was this ancient looking prehistoric, almost looked like it was covered in stone shark with like scars on it and stuff. And it was, just kicking up the, soil and everything like with it, flopping around and doing its thing. It wasn't doing anything. It wasn't eating anything. It was just swimming around and then it went away. They said the size ratio on this is very comparable, that they're like, this could be a megalodon
if it doesn't get killed.
Right. It's like if this is 100% what we are thinking, it's very possible that they could in fact still be alive. They're not extinct. So because they're, for whatever reason, because climate change and everything like that, it was believed the megalodon.
Let's go swimming.
No, I've watched the Meg. That's not happening.
Never seen it. Look dumb as fuck.
Now let me be clear. I watched scenes from the Meg. I know what happens. Dwight's in it from The Office.
I know. There was like quite a kind of fire cast in that, and I was like,
It
fucking
is
dumb.
It is a movie.
I've seen this. I've seen this. Samuel L. Jackson gets eaten.
The Meg is, dude. It's one of those you just shut your brain off and have fun.
I get it. I get it.
Surprisingly, it actually looks really, really good. It's probably one of the better looking shark movies I think I've seen.
It was kind of like the New Age Jaws.
Kind of, yeah.
That's basically what I looked at that as.
When you think of Hollywood and CG and everything now,
Yeah.
It's like they do it big. So obviously, if they're gonna do a shark movie, they're like, well, fuck, we'll do the megalodon. So no, but
That's what she said.
So
Michael Scott voice.
Here's what I will say is that I think that if we can acknowledge that creatures that exist on this planet, again, like I said, we only know so much about our ocean, and what we know is that the ocean is weird. It is something that, like, the environment is completely different. It's animals that breathe through water, and it's like their whole.
Do you still find that weird? Like, we've been alive how long? Like, that's not weird to me anymore.
It's to me, I just look at that.
They've adapted.
They have, but what I look at that is that it's the idea of what can happen to them, of like how they adapt to their environments and the size and like, if you look at it through a purely evolutionary standpoint, it's the fact that it's like the megalodon got that big because it was tired of getting its ass kicked. Like it evolved and then grew stronger to be able to get to that
exactly.
point.
So if the megalodon has evolved, so this actually is a great segue back into the Meg, or I mean
Nessie.
even Nessie.
Yeah.
Sorry, is it got if it's real, if it's real, and people were seeing it move and then go into like different places of water and kind of move around on land, that tells me it was a land creature, maybe first, maybe second, but either way, you don't, if it's bringing a trail of destruction basically from like nature, that means it's been on land longer than just a couple of minutes even.
Yeah, because it's gone from one area.
It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, fuck, this is land, I got to get back.
I think that I would look at it as if it's an evolutionary thing, then it would be one of those where it's like, okay, this is a creature that has the ability to go on land but does not live there.
Well, right.
So,
but what I mean is that it's evolved. Then, if this is true, if this, like I said, if this is a real thing, let's now look at the other side of the spectrum here. We've kind of like debunked this whole thing the entire time. Now let's look at this as far as like okay, it's real. So you have this eel, this dinosaur, this squid, this something, whatever it is something of those combinations or singular thing. It can do both. Now that you've told me that you've told me about the whole land thing, that makes it a little scarier, even if it's fake.
Yeah.
Because it can do both. I don't
like Maneater, where it's like you can come on the
that game's
beaches
fire. Go play it.
It is one. It's, again, I've been saying this a lot, but it is a game that has no business being that good. It is so
really
good. It's
doesn't.
Great. It's so great.
It's pretty good. But no, it's the fact that, okay, even if it is a myth or not, what I mean is that it's one of those things where that's scary. That's like saying the megalodon can just be on land for like 3-4 days at a time to travel somewhere. It can like maybe hold its breath or whatever. Okay, well, it's still gonna attack. Like, even if it's holding your breath, like I can hold my breath and punch.
That's
so
I can hold
or shoot a gun,
punch.
So.
Oh God,
that is where this is kind of taking a different toll, because of then there's that whole evolution then, because even if the megalodon is or God damn it, I keep saying the megalodon.
We're gonna have to do an episode on the megalodon, aren't we?
Nessie is that it has evolved from something, and then this is, like I said, if it's real, then here's what we've got.
Yeah. If
it's real, then I want to know what it really is. We've had all of almost 100 years to find this fucking thing.
Why haven't we found it?
Why haven't we found it? Or like babies, or like, it's Boo, Boo thing. Like, what's it mating with?
Well, here's the thing is that with the idea of like thinking like
what if it mated with a shark?
No.
We'd have a dinosaur shark.
No. That can't happen. Would
it be Dino Shark or Shark Dino?
Well, actually, there is a
there
is a sci-fi movie called Dino Shark.
Sharkosaur?
Shark Ness. Shark Ness.
We're gonna be millionaires.
Nessie
Sharknado
Shark.
fucking did great. Never watched one episode.
Coin the name Shark Nessie. I want a quarter every time somebody says it.
Yeah.
So I did find a couple of other articles. I didn't want to go through all of them because a lot of them are long, but there were some sections I felt that were really good. Again, we're gonna get to the point that we can actually show you guys what I have on a computer to be able to just
sorry, but that went from like I looked over, it was 10 minutes. Now we're at like 40.
Yep. So there's a couple of images I'm seeing here. This is on the TSERMRRenpoach.com or whatever. You can find that the one that's in the description. It'll be there.
Just Google stuff.
Well, no. If you want to find this particular thing, that's what I'm saying. Just look at it. So,
shit.
This article was kind of cool. It went into a lot of just like, the idea of like, what is Nessie? Like what is it? An amphibian? Is it a reptile? Is it a dinosaur? Which, I mean, reptiles are dinosaurs, but it's like what we consider now, like gecko it's a reptile. It's not a
small dinosaur.
So with this, there's a few pictures and a few things on here that were kind of interesting. Now, to kind of describe to you what is being seen here, there is a...
I'll look really hard in your glasses.
So it is the... No,
I'll just try to focus my human eyes.
Let's see here.
You don't gotta do all that,
well, no, I'm literally just turned around. So this is a picture what almost looks like a whale or something that it looks like a what are those called? Eel? No, horseshoe eel, horseshoe something. There's such thing as a horseshoe eel. Okay, I did not know that.
You can pet them at like zoos and stuff.
Horseshoe eel?
No, it's not a. I'm fucking it all up.
I've never heard of
Pepsi that. Is kicking in.
So no, but just there's a lot of like Google image things that have been seen or by satellites. This goes into the sonar studies, and what's interesting is that even on every article or everything that I've looked at,
stingray.
It's more a stingray. There you go.
Stingray.
A horseshoe eel is a stingray.
Fuck off.
I want a t-shirt now that has a stingray that says a horseshoe eel.
Fuck off.
It's kind of like the whole like it's tricky like the whole thing. So it's not supposed to make sense.
You guys don't get it's an inside joke.
But no. So when it comes to these different things, this was actually just a really good one for you guys to be able to just take a look at and read through just to get your own mentality on. This was I don't know. I can't really tell if it sticks up for one side or the other. It kind of just tells like, that there's this, there's that. However, scientists have a new theory on what they believe that the Loch Ness Monster really is. This is ABC News. Let's see here. Somebody says, quoted in this article, it says, it's deep, dark, and mysterious, and it's possibly the best setting in the world for a monstrous mystery, said Professor Neil Geimel of the University of Otago in New Zealand as he began the press conference of the Loch Ness Center. The supposedly shy creature with a snake-like head and long, thin body that's green with black humps has long been a huge tourist draw to Scotland, as we know. It says that they believe that it very much could actually be a form of eel. That is one of the things that was brought up. Now there's a few problems with that they went into some very like science jargon of with the Loch Ness like actual like place of like maybe not, because with the size like it's kind of like, well, yeah, but you'd have to explain these things. It says they actually were testing the water to see what kind of chemical compounds and stuff that were in the water, because you can learn a lot of like from feces to even they talk about how the whale like can spurt however much out and stuff, and it's like 30,000 gallons or whatever. Like the whole ocean is filled with the chemical makeup of all the creatures that are there. And it says, let's be honest,
and then people go jump in it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Somebody says Neil Gemmell, who is the guy I think that was talking earlier in this article, says, hope you grabbed a water sample on my way back to Nest to announce our findings at 10 a.m. GMT 59 at whatever year that was. It says Gemmell said his team had analyzed the water samples for environmental DNA that creatures shed as they move through the environment. Quote, we can collect that DNA and obtain a very accurate indication of what the species was that shed that material. And over time, you can collect quite a large body of information from literally a liter of water. It says, but they found no evidence of a plesiosaur, I think that's what it is, or a prehistoric marine reptile that some had theorized might be the monster. There is probably not a giant scaly reptile swimming around in Loch Ness, said Gemmell. So what might the monster be? One plausible idea based on anecdotal evidence, according to Gemmell, is that the monster is a large eel. But that theory, too, raises questions. Eels usually only grow to 4 to 6 feet, and they migrate to reproduce. Quote, plenty of uncertainty remains, said Gemmell, end quote.
But see, here's my thing with that, is that, okay, just because eels only grow to 4 to 5 feet or whatever he said doesn't mean that they won't. Okay. Normal human beings don't get past much height than me and you, 6 to 6'3", 6'5", 6'6".
And King Tut was a freak that was 7 foot, whatever. Yeah, right.
7'1".
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me that just because that species doesn't get above X amount of feet doesn't mean they can't. Because I dated a girl that had an angelfish, and she had a giant aquarium in her room and was told that her angelfish was one of the more larger styles that had ever been done because the fact of it grows and adapts to its environment.
Oh, yeah, because if you have a smaller tank, you'll have a smaller fish. But if you have it's the opposite, right?
And so for that to happen, and bro, that thing was alive for years after I knew her and before her.
Marine life is different, dude.
So
it's weird.
Don't tell me that just because this is where I have a hard time disbelieving and believing. It's like 50-50 for Nessie with me.
It is for me too. It's because it's so difficult.
It can happen.
It's I think it's ignorant to, I mean, some people could say this about like the belief in God or like, in higher powers or in, monsters or anything else, is that to make the claim that something does not exist confidently, you have needed to search the necessary evidence and search every area that this thing could exist in to fully prove that it does not exist.
Correct.
That's how they say like the whole concept of God is that you cannot fully disprove God because you can't travel the entire universe to discover if he's there or not. It's like that's one of the the things that they say. There's also the idea that it's like, there's the idea of faith, like all that stuff. But when it comes to creatures like this, when it comes to Loch Ness, is that you can't look in every body of water at all times to see what's there. You're probably going to find things that are like much different and probably more monster-like, maybe not as sinister, but that are going to be different than Nessie. I think that Nessie is a very, I say this a lot, but it's like, I think that's too simple. I think Nessie is too simple with what is truly possible that could exist in the marine life that exists on our planet. And I think that it's I think there's an argument to be made to say that Nessie could be real.
Do you think that the Loch Ness Monster is something to be afraid of?
There's never been any attacks from what it seems like.
But let's say for some reason you were out and about in the ocean.
Fuck no. I know.
Get it.
Yeah.
But hear me out. And she just pops up. Like, what would you do?
I'd probably squeal and run to the inner parts of the boat and then fucking
why?
Because it's already a fear on top of a creature that I don't understand.
No. What I'm saying is that you already stated that it doesn't attack.
Right. It doesn't matter. I would still be like,
are you afraid it's going to like wrap around the boat and like rip it down?
I'm afraid because I don't know.
Right. But what I mean is like,
I will observe it from a distance.
You're having like a peaceful cigarette, like out on the poop deck. Because that's what it's called. That is why I pooped there.
Fire on the poop deck. Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, so let's just say you're out. Damn it. I've done that like 4 times. It's me tonight.
Stop using your right hand.
Usually it's you. It's usually you hitting the mic. But no, you're out having a smoke. And she just kind of whoop.
I mean,
down. What would you do?
I mean, if we're assuming that that's a situation that happens, I probably would still shit myself. Because it would be something. Because if in this example, I don't even know this is something that's going to happen. So
I know, but I'm just saying, like, with you being with your fear of everything, like you just said, she doesn't attack. I call her a she because that's just, I don't know, Nessie sounds like.
Yeah,
but just that kind of like what's it from Elf?
Oh, bye, Mr. Bye, buddy.
Yeah, but it's like,
bye, Mr. Normal.
Yeah, Mr. Normal. She's probably like Mrs. Normal, like, hey, Kyle, hope you're having a good day. And then
Thanks,
pops back down.
Here's the thing. You look at that on a very simple surface level. When I'm in water, all I can think about is what is underneath of me.
Death.
I can't.
Is that all you think? Death.
Because water kills you if you don't have the things to breathe.
it.
You can't
swim.
Breathe. You can't survive in a deep depth. If
you can swim.
Below. Yeah, you can. But if you're being pulled under by anything, you don't have a chance. What did you tell me about the account of the 3 people that on that show I should not survive? Where one of them was literally ripped apart by a shark,
literally going up in the air and flopping in the.
So they were white because there was no blood left in them and they were just dead. Yeah, the ocean is terrifying. Water was not meant for humans. Do not test me. I will beat you every time. It is terrifying. Coral is something that can bother you and it doesn't even have a motivation.
Well, don't be around sharks.
Okay, cool. You know how you do that? You don't go. I have no reason to go.
I don't know, guys. Like, this is
I can't. All I'm saying is that in that moment, I would 100% shit myself, but then be that guy that later on, like outside having another smoke 5 years later with a friend of mine, like, yeah, I saw Nessie. It was terrifying, but I don't think I really had a reason to be scary. So
no, that's my thing is that with her being so kind of docile, it's almost kind of like seeing the, sperm whale when they come up next to the boat or the dolphin. I know they're smaller, but it's like, it's seeing that wild nature. It's I think that would be almost like a beautiful thing because you're right. There's no violence with it.
Like I've been to SeaWorld and have petted dolphins and all that stuff. Like dolphins are adorable. Like they're awesome. Like it's like I don't hate everything in the ocean. I just don't like where they live. It's just so. But I don't know, man. I would like to think that in that moment that if already being out on a boat is already enough for something to put me into an anxiety attack.
I know. I was just saying if you were there.
A creature that is prehistoric that is looking at me like that,
you could have.
But
like, what if you were one of those people that were like, I fucking saw Nessie, dude?
I would have that mentality after I made it onto land. I
get it.
It's when I know for a fact that I can get back and out of the water.
You do have a very different perspective on that because it's because of your fear of the water, and that's not a slight. That was just that's weird to me. Because I'm not afraid of water. You are.
Like, for instance.
So that takes a whole different view on everything.
I understand that tarantulas are not poisonous to me.
But you do not like spiders.
I do not like spiders. I do not want to be near one. Now, for instance, like it's that whole idea, like when I heard, I can't remember what like outlet I heard this from, whether it was a friend or if it was a show or something, but there was somebody I remember as a prank, which I don't understand why the hell they did it, because this is so horrible, but they went to their friend's place and took hairspray and sprayed their tarantula, and it froze it and it starved to death and died. And it was like, so it was one of those things where they were like, haha, like this is funny or whatever. But like, dude, like you killed their pet, man. Like that's
right.
that's I don't look at that and think, haha, squash them all. I'm like, no, dude, you killed Daisy. Fuck you.
Yes.
Like, dude, like, no, she did nothing wrong to you.
Some people do have that. We had Tina the tarantula in my 6th grade class.
Right.
She was defanged, guys. She was a non-poisonous or any even at that, but I don't know if you consider that inhumane, but
I mean, at the time, that was a normal thing to do. But
they defanged her, and she would like come out in class and like sit on your desk or like on your shoulder and watch you. She was completely harmless.
Because was she a rose hair?
I forget, man.
Because if it was, rose hairs are like the most docile. They're known as like leg puppies. Like they're very friendly.
Yes.
Now they can be provoked, but like
sure, that's probably what most people have. But no, that was our pet. Mm-hmm. We voted on the pet.
Yeah.
And that was the thing is that she that's what she was considered.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. Just because you don't like tarantula or spiders, people are like, no, God damn it. But people view that as their pets. So that's why I was saying, like, that just is really shocking to me that you wouldn't be like, oh my God, like I got to see Nessie.
No, I would have that realization after the fact. And quite honestly, that would probably mess with me for a long time. Like it would take me a lot of time to get over that, because I've never been even whale watching.
I get
like actually, being out. Like,
you have.
If I have, I don't remember it.
Well, when we went to Maine, we went out on the boat. We were on the boat and like seal watching or whatever it was. Like we went out and then we came back, picked our lobsters that were caught that day. We were at that. Was that
where I had my meltdown? Was that the same day? Like when I thought when I was thinking I was picking out a lobster. There's a story here. When I thought that I was picking out a lobster to take
go
home.
Yes.
And they brought it to me cooked and I freaked out. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Kyle Booth was with us.
I remember everything about the restaurant. I like anything before or after. I don't even know like what happened.
We went on the boat ride beforehand and like we're like seeing, I vaguely remember it, but like we were seeing like, the like nature. And when we came back, that's the same restaurant that they filmed the fight scene from A Message in a Bottle, I guess.
Oh, okay.
That's why the Kevin Costner shit was there.
I don't remember that at all.
But no, yes, that's where we got to pick from that day. Like, I want this lobster, and then they brought it to you.
Yeah, I do remember
it
that.
It was that whole strip of the places on the docks.
Yeah.
And then that's what you did was you could take a boat ride if you wanted for like an extra however much money, and we all did it. So you were out and you did it. I don't remember.
I don't.
You probably blocked it the fuck out.
Probably. Like it's probably one of those things where it's like, no, I couldn't. Like God knew I couldn't handle it, so he took it away from me.
Oh, dude, it was amazing.
No, but when it comes to the creatures of this world that we do not understand, the nature that we do not understand, and I think this is going to be a consistent thing when we talk about many different animals that exist that shouldn't. I mean, the honey badger alone is something that defies everything that we understand. Squid is something that is actually theorized that it's actually alien, that it was not native to Earth because its makeup and its entire nervous system is completely whacked. It makes no sense. So it's one of those where it's like, if I'm going to already hold to those opinions that I have of the animals that we in fact can study and that we can in fact see and we can tangibly touch, sometimes safely and sometimes not, I moralistically and personally cannot look at Nessie and say it's not real. I think that there is a lot of evidence to suggest that it's not real. But what I am saying is that if I'm going to grow up believing the belief I did, that I still wrestle with to this day, I literally believed whatever one, however I'm on this pendulum of whatever day, a good day or bad day I'm having, that God became a man and died and resurrected himself and did amazing things on all other aspects. He defied death. If I already was able to believe that, a Loch Ness Monster in marine life that is already whacked
far off.
Isn't that far-fetched. Whether you believe the universe came from nothing and exploded and created everything and everything.
Still not far off.
Every belief system or every sort of, thing that has been incarnated into existence has a ridiculous factor to it. Think about this. Sharks are things that have teeth that do nothing but swim and kill and sleep. Like it's like that. Like it's that idea where it's like their marine life is so different from everything that happens on land.
They don't just go kick it with like Phil or the other shark.
No, it's like when you think about the idea that it's like we have animals in this house right now that are native to mainly live outside but have been domesticated. I snuggle with Ambrose every day, and all
animals are domesticated,
right? But what I'm saying is that it's the idea that it's like you can have, there are certain like for instance, like wolves. Wolves are harder to domesticate because of the fact that it's like it's
because nobody domesticated them 300 years ago.
So it's like we have this ability to like I snuggle with Willow, I snuggle with Thor, I snuggle with all the cats in this house. I love all of them. I pick them up. I give them way too many kisses, and they do not like me. Like but
do not like me.
That's what John Mulaney said about his bulldog Petunia. But it's this mentality where it's like marine life is so different that I understand that it is kind of like outer space on our planet. It's something that we don't understand. So to basically bring this to a conclusion of some sort, with all the ramblings and the bunny trails that have done nothing but affirm, I think, that every position that could be brought up, I want to leave you guys with something. And it's kind of boring on just like what it is. This would be like me setting up a camera up on the the back porch or like front stoop or, the side garage or whatever, and just letting it run. There is a camera that if you follow the link below, Loch Ness Monster live cam by Nessie on the net. There is a camera that is up in a field that is overseeing a bunch of sheep. Depending on the day, you may see a little more or a little less, or sometimes you won't see any, depending on what's going on. But you can see like almost the entire landscape of the water, and stuff. So, for instance, somebody is on here right now and they're typing and they're saying stuff. So like, there's like a live chat you can chat with people.
Oh God,
and
it's like it's an all the time thing.
Yeah. So this is running right now. There's 290 people watching. But
holy shit!
There's no comments or anything right now. Actually, hold on. Let's see here. This is on Top Chat, live chat replay.
So
let's see what comes up. But
people are really trying to catch this thing.
This is now. To be fair, I feel like that this should be.
It probably died last year before they put this camera up.
We were too late, guys.
Yeah. No, 2020 killed the motherfucker. It got corona.
Oh, Nessie got corona
because it was on land too long.
Vaccinate Nessie.
Yeah,
she needs it. Don't you
go right down below? We're gonna start a GoFundMe for the vaccination of Nessie.
We need a really big one.
Yeah, a really big one. Yeah. That's what she said.
But when it comes to this, I wanted to leave you guys with this. That way you can look at this. It was pretty cool. I chatted with some people on here today, and I was like, wow, I came here to research a podcast, and I found a live stream of the Loch Ness, like of just like the area, not the monster.
That's
but
what
like,
you were talking about.
Yeah. So and somebody was like, oh, cool. What's your podcast about? So it's like I was chatting with people on there a little bit. It was like,
well, if you're watching,
yeah. So thank you.
Cool. Hit like, please. You guys know what to do. Hit like and subscribe. That way you never miss an episode and watch us two idiots sit here and talk about weird shit.
You also, if you like the radio side of things, you can follow us on Spotify and tons of other platforms and stuff. All the description shit will be in the low.
Yep.
Or be in the below.
Be in the below.
Be in the low. Be in the low. No,
just
but
click where you normally look and find stuff.
We
It'll
can't
be
fucking
there.
talk tonight.
Not at all. I keep slapping the mic. I keep smacking my cup on the table here, like all kinds of weird shit.
To be fair, it is a very nice cup. It's very big. Now, to give you perspective, when I was looking at the video, it had 8 viewers, and now it says 290. So, which actually it looks like
probably more.
It looks like actually the live did end. I clicked on it again, so it looks like they may do it in like hour and a half increments now that I'm seeing it. So I think that because earlier it was live. So but
either way, there is.
You're really liking that mic tonight, ain't you?
It's not even the mic. I'm smacking the table.
You may just want to
too big.
You just may want to put the drink down or get a smaller.
Nah, because then I gotta go off camera and come with the mic, and then anyways.
Yeah, but it's better than. So
yeah, well, we'll have to figure something out. So if you've enjoyed everything right now, you know what to do. See, I just smacked it again with my other hand.
You're just batting 100 tonight.
We're done. See ya.
We all appreciate everything that you guys do for us, that you follow us, that you give us ideas. If you have an idea for a new podcast, make sure you comment below. And if you've enjoyed this, tell us what you enjoyed, or if you didn't like the fact that I read a really shitty paragraph, mainly my interpretation of it. However you want it to be, let us know below. Like, subscribe, and if you want to see more of the Cavecast, it'll happen every Friday
sit like
at 11 a.m.
for the entire thing and not move.
He's not going to touch anything.
And just scream my obscenities at the microphone.
I couldn't resist it at all. So, all right, guys. Adios.